Hello, my name's Jonathan, and in this video I'm going to talk about some techniques and tips that helped me when I took my CeMAP exam. So as I said, this video is about giving you the techniques and tips that I use to pass the CeMAP exam. And in this channel we cover many different things, not necessarily CeMAP content stuff, things that you have to learn, but tips that will really help you process the knowledge and help you pass much quicker, both learning from my mistakes. So if you are interested in this type of information, or this is something that you feel will help you, feel free to press the like button and subscribe, because there's loads of videos like this. So you're about to take your exam and you want the 2 best tips that will help you. Now, if you've currently taken an exam and failed, this will help you. And if you're about to take your exam, this should stop you from failing. So the first point is I want to kind of put across is that, remember, you still need to know all the content in the textbooks. You can't really wing the exam. You can't wing the exam. However, these techniques will help you really understand how you are going to pass. Let me explain a little bit better. So first of all, let's start between the 2 differences of taking an exam at home versus taking an exam at a test center. If you take your exam at home, you can get yourself in a nice routine. You've got a private room, you've got a private setting, you can control everything around you, more or less. What I like to do is get up in the morning about an hour early, maybe do a quick mock test on an app. If you want to know the apps that I use, I'm going to put a video on that sometime next week. So the apps that I use to pass my CeMAP. If you want to watch that video, press subscribe so you know as soon as it's available. So I would run through some apps, I'll go and have a shower, I'd have some breakfast, I'll freshen up, I'll go to the shop and get an energy drink, and then I'll go and sit my exam. That was my process. Now, if I would have done it at a test center, would have been the other way round. I'd have shot up out of bed, I would have tried to get ready, I wouldn't have had a shower, I've had to beat traffic, probably pay for parking, turn up at the exam, do the exam, and it's in a world and an environment that is completely different. So in terms of taking your exam and test at home, if you kind of like the sound of scenario 1, the one that I took, book it at home. However, there's 2 different things, there's a couple of things different where you would work in the exam center but not necessarily at home. And one of the ones that I found was that you couldn't take any pens or piece of paper in with you, which is fair enough. However, in the exam, if you take it in an exam center, you get given a card, a whiteboard, a dry white pen, and it becomes useful for making notes and potentially working out calculations, but also useful for my first tip. And my first tip is, for at the start of every question, cover the question and cover the answers. Now, in the exam center, you can use, I believe, the whiteboard card that they give you. Well, in the online test, you can't really do that. However, there is a button that says calculator at the top, and there's a button that actually says whiteboard. If you press that, it opens up a blank window that is effectively Microsoft Paint, but you can draw whatever you want on it. Now, I never used it for drawing on, except for CeMAP 3. But what you can do is cover the questions with it. And you want to read the questions line for line and only look at the answers once you've understood the question. Better yet, only look at the answers if you know what the answer is without even seeing them. This way you can guarantee you're pretty much going to get that passed. Now, you may have seen when you're reading your mock tests that some of the answers or some of the questions are cleverly worded, and it kind of if you read the question really quickly, you end up picking the wrong answer. So this helps eliminate that. The second tip I'm going to give you is something really, really simple, really easy. I don't think I've actually seen anyone really write about it or talk about it. Many people have talked about covering the answers and the questions, which is really useful. Another one that I did was, if I know that I'm only allowed to get X amount wrong, so if it's a 100 question test, let's just say a random test, 100 questions, pass rate is 70%. So per out of them 100 questions, I'm only allowed to get 30 wrong. Now in the CeMAP exam, especially CeMAP 1, they split 50 questions each. So it'll be 15 you're allowed to get wrong. If there was a question that I was not sure about at all, I would flag it. Even if I think the answer's right, but I'm not so sure, I'm not confident with the answer, there is a little button that says flag. And you can review your flags through answering the questions just by clicking on the navigator button. You can see all the questions that you've flagged and all the questions that you've not yet answered. And if you have less than 15 flags and you're flagging them correctly, so this isn't a question where you think you've got it wrong or you probably don't know the answer, it's a question that you could potentially be a guess, or you might think it's right but you're not quite sure. It's the question that you give yourself an amount of doubt, like an amount of personal doubt. If you flag that question and you've been strict in flagging these and you've got less than 15, then you pretty much guaranteed to pass. If you've got less than 15 questions flagged, pretty much guaranteed to pass. If you've got around 14, 15 flagged, you never know, there might be a question that you got wrong that you think you got right and not flagged it. Always go through your flagged questions and you'll find after you've completed the exam and you've got some time left to go over them flagged questions, look at it as go through the questions again, and you might find that the question that you think you got wrong but could potentially be right might be like, oh, I'm confident now, that is definitely the right answer, and you take that flag off. And you go, all right, brilliant, I've got 13 flags. I'll go through it again just to make sure that I'm not going for something that might be wrong, and I feel confident with the answer I've given, but I'm not confident if it's right. You're not randomly changing answers. Don't change the answers. If you're not sure on the answer that you've done and you've pressed that right answer, or the answer that you think is right, but flagged it, don't then randomly go start changing answers, because you'll fail. You're not in the right frame of mind, you're just panicking and guessing. So if you've got less than 15 flags for this example of CeMAP 1 in that module, then you're happy. Off you go. 11 flags, perfect. 12 flags, perfect. 13 flags, you might want to just double check before you go into the next module. But yeah, there's my 2 tips for you. Cover every question. Try and guess the answer before you read the answers. And when you read the answers, read them one by one. So move the window down to reveal A, reveal B, C, etc. And try and find the right answer before you look at all the answers. Bonus tip, which I've just remembered, bonus tip for you, if you are completely not sure on the answer at all, you are not sure, go for the shortest written answer. There you go, shortest written answer. I don't know where I've read that, seen that, wherever, but that was another thing. Oh, Paul Archer. Have a look at Paul Archer. That's what I remember reading from one of his works. So yes, you've got them 3 tips. Shortest answer, cover all the answers and questions and read them one by one. Take your time and check your flags. If you've got less than 15 flags, if we're talking about CeMAP 1, you're on for a winner. Hope this has been useful. Thank you very much for your support so far this week. If this video has helped you and you found something new, or it's something that you're going to use for your next exams, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thanks very much. More videos, more helpful videos, more importantly, like this, that you're able to use straight away just from watching it, because it's easy stuff, is coming this week. So thank you very much and talk soon.